Hi everybody, it's Corbin, and in today's video I want to talk about what I was making, which was a Threadbanger inspired little hat that I'm going to transform into a helmet. Now, a few months back, Robin Crin on Threadbanger came out with a little creation tutorial thing for a Maleficent inspired headpiece. I'll link and put an annotation somewhere on the screen and in the description, and I suggest you watch the original video because she explains it 100-fold better than I do. Now, pretty much what you do is you're going to cut out the pattern. She has a link in her description of her video of the pattern I'm using. You cut out 2 pieces of buckram, 2 pieces of felt. You wet it, the buckram, 1 layer at a time, and you're going to go ahead and apply the first layer down. You're going to pin it all the way around and lay it flat so it can dry flat. Each layer you kind of want it to have a semi-chance to dry, and then you put the next layer on. So it's 2 layers of buckram and 1 layer of felt. And with the felt layer, what you're going to do when we get there, you'll see it, but I'm going to squirt a glue. She uses, I think it's Ardell's tacky glue, which I've made one before with that. I didn't like the process because when it got wet, it still was wet. It's sticky. It would become sticky again. But with what I used, E6000, it dried, and it was still flexible the way you'd want it to be. So I'm using E6000 Fabric Fuse, by the way, and when it dried, it was waterproof, and it still did everything I needed it to. And it dried very well. It literally took 24 hours to dry, just like her video she suggests, and it worked out great. So after you leave it to dry for 24 hours, the thing you're going to look at the most is how dry it is on the inside. I discovered with both the tacky glue and with the E6000, what ended up happening with me even with 24 hours, it's probably the fact it's very damp in my room where I was drying them, but it literally would stay wet for at least an extra 2 or 3 hours until I had let it have a chance off the foam head. Now what you see here is I'm applying the bias tape just like Kareen does in her video, and it's the easiest finish, and I understand exactly why she chose the glue she chose. But I want it to remain as waterproof as possible because of where I'm going to be wearing this. I do not want it to fall apart. I don't want it to become damaged by water at all. So I repin it on to let it dry on the form, just like she suggests every time you do a step, you let it dry and pin it, and dry it, pin it, and dry it. What you're going to see me do now is, because this is going to be a mock medieval kind of helmet, I'm going to take little plastic gems in just a moment and glue them down using plain E6000. And I'm going to glue them down so they look like rivets, like the metal's been riveted worked and it looks kind of cool. I'm also going to go ahead and put eyelets around it, which I don't show in the video, because I wanted an extra thing, because I'm going to attach it to a hood eventually once I get there. So it has like a chainmail hood attached to it. So you see me also preparing for where I'm going to put the gem, the jewel on the very front. And what I do is I pretty much hot glue around the edge of it, and I play with it, I shape it, and I use hot glue. I ended up making it a lot taller than I thought I would originally, and it just works out. I peel it off with the felt, so that way I can adjust it, re-glue it, remake it, make it the way I want it, build it up, make it taller, and then I E6000 it down. And I let it dry, and it's adhered like a dream. It's not coming off anytime soon. Now what happened was I ended up not liking it, so I peeled it off and I redid a new one. It's just adjust it to how you like it. It was the same process. I took it, I peeled it back off whenever it was done, I trimmed it down to a size that I liked, and then I went ahead and it just E6000'd it down. So now the next step is to paint it. I used an outdoor paint. Make sure you do this outside. I didn't, I know, but it's because of the weather and how weird it was here, but it went into a well-ventilated room after I was done painting it, and I left it to dry. It's going to need quite a few coats unless you prime it with Elmer's glue, which you just coat the whole thing in Elmer's glue. I didn't do that because I really wanted the texture to show through of the felt. Now, I didn't actually get to finish this the way I wanted to, but here's some pictures of me painting it with the second coat. Remember, you guys, I'll post later what it looks like. Like, favorite, subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Bye.